Hello again, everyone. Melth here, with more of my Baldur's Gate 3 challenge run. This time tackling some pretty obscure fights in the Shadow-Cursed lands, at least one of which people seem to often overlook or be unaware of. Should be pretty interesting to talk about. As usual, details of the challenge run are in the YouTube video description, and watch out for spoilers throughout this run. Now, hopefully you can't hear or see a difference, but I'm in a new home with a new room I'm going to convert to my recording studio, I suppose. There might be a few hiccups and changes over the course of the next few videos as I get things to be the way I want them to be. Let's go and do a battle in this Shar Shrine here, which we bypassed before because we wanted to get fully set up with everything out of the way and all story rest done before doing all the battles of Act 2. So, down here into the secret room that is inside the already secret Shar Shrine, which is unlocked by talking to those 3 statues.
An altar to Shar.
Oddly enough, if you fail this check, I found that if you just back out and try to get with the exact same character, you're allowed to repeat it endlessly, so bit of an oversight there, I think. This doesn't really make that big a difference, you just get a few free magic items this way. But nothing too interesting. Just potions. You know, the elixir, I guess, is okay. I mean, lots of necrotic damage around in this act. And that potion would normally be great, but I can't use it for my challenge run rules. It's not really technically against the letter of those rules. You know, it's not a long rest, it's a short rest. And it's not a healing potion, it's a potion that does a bunch of stuff including healing you, but I think it's against the spirit of my run, so I won't be using them. Now, with this crowd here, it's always worth bearing in mind you have a chance of being kind of trapped by your own summons. You should watch out for that and make sure before any kind of battle happens that you can see coming that your important people are not about to be blocked.
Nice march. There we go.
So most of them run on out, and we'll have Ballista then go to the altar and despoil it. We do hate Shar in this party. What was that slide back and forth Minthara did? I don't know if that's a bug or what. Very weird. Okay, so a fun little battle here. These 3 sentinels kind of correspond to various classes. You know, we've got a paladin here, a cleric, and a wizard. Now, you probably expect the wizard to be the most dangerous one of them. But oddly enough, he's the least dangerous, because his best spell seems to be like Melf's Acid Arrow, which is not even good for a level 2 spell. Most interesting is probably actually this guy, because he can smite you really hard with multiple attacks. And this one can do Spirit Guardians, which for my party of numerous low HP people would be pretty nasty, so those are my priorities. Now they have a few interesting abilities too, like Living Shadow makes them very hard to damage unless you bring them into light. Many things in this act, appropriately, you rely a lot on lighting versus obscurity, which I think is interesting. So I'll turn on Lathander's light. Let me actually come to think of it, add that to my quick bar of options there, because it needs to be turned on and off to work properly a lot of the time. Okay, I know I have seen Lathander's light as an option to add to before. Not happening here for whatever reason. In any case, this is a decent use case for firing with our Sunbeam here, because they're all weak to radiant damage, they're pretty tough customers, and although we might like to use this later on in the act, maybe fighting Oliver, I think this is still a good opportunity. Let's go for it. Decent damage there. In any case, I want to keep them in the Lathander light. So, toggle that on and off. He has Living Shadow gone. He has it back. Let's walk over there. There we go. Alright. So let's soften these guys up next. I think normally we could do like Spike Growth or whatever, but for these I think we probably want to just go in and melee them and blitz them down. So let's activate Shrinking Shillelagh and just walk up and hit that guy. Oh, entangled. How nice. That should give these skeletons an easy way to hit it too. So, convenient. They're immune to blinded, so I can't just send in the ravens to take care of that. Anyway, we plan to just soften him up to the point where we can kill him with either Astarion or Ballista. Because they have Bloodlust Elixir, so they get extra access from getting kills, so it's just kind of efficient to do things that way. If we can give the kill to Ballista while he, hexes that guy, can maybe get more overall damage that way. I'm going to try to go for that. So I'm going to use Hex on that one. People often ask questions about Hex. Let me remind you how it works. With Hex, you choose an enemy stat, one of the 6. And they have disadvantage then on checks with that stat. But note that checks is a 5e term that is not the same as attack rolls or saving throws. People often get that wrong. Checks basically only means skills. So don't do it to penalize people's attacks, it doesn't work that way. Don't do it to penalize saving throws, it doesn't work that way. It is only a penalty to their skills. Now, which skills come up in combat? Well, basically none of them, except in this game for acrobatics and athletics to avoid being pushed or to push people. So really, the only things that actually matter at all, I would say, for Hex are strength and dexterity. So that is what you want to Hex, always. Maybe Minthara can soften the up with like a firebolt. Might be a bit of overkill there. Quite low damage. Ballista would probably kill this one, but not guaranteed. Okay, now it's guaranteed.
Nothing will stand.
So, what we're going to do, I think, then is we hex that guy. We'll now shoot this guy. 98% to hit. I'll take those odds. Let's turn off pushback. We don't want that. Want to keep the guy in the light. And then blast him for massive damage.
There's blood in the air.
Okay, so now we will fire off a shot and kill off that one. 60%, why is it that low? 85% for that one, very strange. Well, I don't really need sharpshooter for this one, I don't think anyway. This should probably just kill as it is. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I forgot to take him out of Living Shadow, silly me. Luckily, force damage is still pretty hard to resist, and we've done enough damage to him that he's not going to be a big threat. But let's get him out of Living Shadow effect. Alright, I think I handled that fight pretty well.
No traps, please.
Sadly, no interesting items on these guys, but I've got to thank Shar for letting us keep her blessings that we got from this place after we, despoiled it. Shar really is, by far, the most helpful goddess, or god for that matter, in this game. Most of the rest of them do basically nothing for you. Lathander gives us a pretty nice blessing, so I've got to give him some credit. Selûne is shockingly worthless. Mystra is arguably less than worthless.
How do people do this?
Sorry, we just got started. Alright, let's get over here to Last Light Inn, where nearby there are a couple of fights that I feel like probably in character would have happened earlier, but out of character we're doing them now because mechanically now is when we can do them without, any story rest coming up. One of them is a fight that people don't seem to know about, which I'm looking forward to showing here. The corpses exploding reminds me of something. I'm really quite perfectionistic about the games that I make. I was making a pretty well developed mod for Worker 3 at one point, but I was annoyed by this fact that I couldn't get corpses that were on the ground to not occasionally replay their death animation. And eventually I was able to freeze them in a place where they wouldn't do that, but just the fact that this excellent game by a top tier studio is also having similar problems with corpses makes me feel better about how I could not quite for a long time get them to work perfectly the way I wanted it to.
Done.
In any case, so these torches over here near where the True Soul died somehow or other are continual flame torches, so they can't be snuffed out, you need to attack them yourself, basically. Now, if you destroy them, all of them, then a bunch of shadow masses pop up that must have been what killed the True Soul and then fight you. Which doesn't make that much sense if you think about it, because they clearly killed the True Soul, right? And you'd think they could just ambush you if you walked outside the light of the torches, but they apparently just don't. Anyway, one thing to know here is that if you destroy the last torch, the fight will begin immediately, and the cat is using your action to begin the fight, so you kind of have lost an attack. So it's best to have someone who's unimportant begin that if you really want to optimize. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. So the Shadow Mastiffs, man, the Shadow's really doing terribly on initiative, isn't it? I don't know why, it has decent dexterity. In any case, Shadow Mastiffs are led by a alpha, which has kind of become a video game trope at this point, that like the wolf pack or dog pack will always be led by an alpha or whatever, but that is discredited science at this point. The guy who first published the paper proposing that there were alpha wolves leading packs, later on repeated it, said he was completely wrong about that, and asked people to stop repeating it, but the myth lives on. Wolf packs do not, in fact, have alphas or anything like that. Wolf packs tend to be in family groups led by the father or grandfather of the pack, basically, and the mother of most of them, too. Not the same as people imagine it to be, where it being the strongest one leading or something like that, necessarily. In any case, soften that guy up, and he's now guaranteed killable by Ballista, because Ballista does double charisma to his damage there. It lists as if it only had Agonizing Blast, but I also have the Potent Robe adding another +7, so... Yeah, here's something interesting, by the way. I bet I can knock them off a cliff if I go to the right angle. But that might be a little bit inefficient. Let's instead hex maybe that guy? Or that guy. Yeah, let's go for hexing that one. I'm really overdoing things here. Like, I don't need to fight this hard against this easy little battle. But, you know me, I like to optimize things. So, I can push them off the cliff because they have no gear, so you might as well just knock them off. I know there's an angle that will knock them back. Let's see. How far you knock them is pretty weird with many enemies in this game, not just these Mastiffs. You know, it was only a few inches before we now something is like knocking you back 15 feet or whatever, so convenient how that works out for us, I guess. I could also put the guy in light, but I'm being a little bit lazy about that.
Fuck yes.
Why did that guy die after another delay? It didn't do enough damage for that, did I? Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it's the Cold Week that did it. In any case, a pretty easy fight that I optimized the hell out of for fun, basically.
Outmaneuver them.
Only the Alpha one has any gear, as I recollect. There were a lot of rings and other items here in Act 2 that relate to lighting and shadow. There were a few in Act 1 too, of course, but there are a lot here, which is both thematically appropriate and I think also really a good use of the medium. That kind of thing with lighting is not easy to do with the tabletop, but it's something that computers are very, very strong at. So I think they made a good choice with lots of items that use your ability to dynamically change lighting as you move around, not square by square, but pixel by pixel. It's not going to make a big difference, might as well put it on and have some fun with it.
Never wanted the easy path.
Alright, next over here we have the poor Meazels that we've been left hanging in their ambush for like days at this point. Now, it would feel pretty silly for me to ambush them by just attacking them, which would cause them to get surprised. But it also would feel silly to let them ambush me. So maybe a middle ground thing would be to send in only person who has alert so they can't be ambushed. And then the fight will hopefully begin on neutral terms that way. Nothing silly happening to either party. Let's have that be Karlak, I think.
Well. Soldier?
So you walk in with your alertness, and hopefully that will trigger the fight in an equitable way. There we go. Alright. These guys are pretty tough to beat on initiative, so that's not great for us. Now, the Meazels are really not that big a threat, I must say. But they do have a lot of hit points. They're not easy to take out quickly. We might consider having Saurian fire off an arrow of many targets at them. We have a lot of those, and we should get some use out of them. That didn't work. Okay, I was hoping to hit all of them, but I guess they weren't in the area of effect, so I wasted a great arrow there. But I do have a decent number of those, so that'll be okay.
I'm heating up.
I could have the Dryad spike growth them or something like that. They do have the ability to teleport though, so it's not that effective. Entangle might be better. If I entangle them, they can probably teleport, but can't do much after that, I would think. Let's give it a try. Nah, he saved. Okay. That's fine. Infinite use, entangles, and spike growths are pretty sweet. I'll be definitely benefiting from those over the course of this run.
Nice.
Alright, well let's poke that guy. Set him on fire too, so we can't entangle him. Yeah. Well, in that case...
My victims await.
I guess it allowed my shadow to cloak, which is what that sound over there was. I could throw a bomb if there's a spot that would hit multiple of them. I'm not sure there is. The best way to test it usually is to see what a fireball would do, because it has the same AoE as a smoke powder bomb. And the game will, for some reason, display the AoE for a fireball, but not for a smoke powder bomb. Inconvenient that way. Alright, so if I throw it there, that should damage them both. Maybe I'll try that. Not bad. Oh, didn't mean to end your turn there. See, would you do more damage like this, or would you do more damage giving another shot to Astarion? Probably do more damage like this, just fire away on your own. Let's go for that. And let's back you out of there. Want to keep your concentration safe after all. So what are your odds of just killing this person outright? Oh, guaranteed. Yeah, we're gonna go for that. So next up, our target should probably be this one. Sneak attack him. Don't mind if we do. Do we have any attacks left on people who have minor attacks? Not really, so I think it is up to Astarion to get another kill here. Okay. So in that case, this guy's our new target. We've got 2 of these attacks, or we can use just one and then back out to safety. What are my odds of finishing that guy off? I think they're okay at least. Yeah, my thinking now is basically I can get maximum use out of Hex if I gamble a little bit here. You know, let's Hex that guy's dexterity. They have pretty good dexterity. Nothing that's likely to matter very much. Then I attack... Oh, it's too dark, huh? I think I can fix that.
Close ranks.
And maybe toggle the light on and off. That'll hopefully make him not be in the dark.
No choice but to keep going.
There we go. So if I fire one bolt at him, it'll probably get the kill. And one bolt at that one. There we go. That gives me another 2 attacks, which now benefit from Hex against that guy. So it does like basically 3 attacks worth of damage with Hex. So pretty good. Oh, didn't even need the skeletons there. Let's wait for the flames to die down, and then we can loot things, I guess.
My mind. And, well, in it.
I want to voice my appreciation for one thing, which is that these guys that have the Shadow Garrote ability all actually have a rope to explain their Garrote. It doesn't do anything, but I just kind of think that's a neat touch that they gave that to them. Meazels lore-wise, by the way, there's not really much to them. There's kind of another hideous goblin-y race. There's kind of a subspecies that lives in the Shadowfell, that's what these ones are, but they're not really any different from the ones that live in the material world. They're just these ugly, deformed, monster little filthy creatures that struggle things for just being prettier than them, basically. There's a lot of races like that in D&D lore. They're not terribly interesting to me. Pick that lock. I find it interesting, as kind of a silly thing, that the Potter's chest here isn't really around that many pots. I mean, there's some scattered down there. But the Traveler's chest down there is walled in with pots and things like that. In any case, clearly a Potter's workshop was around here. These gloves are pretty good because we have lots of ways to do radiant damage in this act. We could stack that up with the breastplate that also makes you do radiant orb when you do radiant damage, and really blind enemies fast and make them unable to hit us basically under any circumstances. Little quest thing there. But I feel that we have better glove items for most people. Like, we can give him to Astarion maybe once he has getting the fighting style from his next fighter level. But anything Astarion shoots usually just dies anyway, so we don't really want him to be doing that. Karlith needs this to be multi-class, wizard cleric and have, stat points to spare for both intelligence and wisdom. Minthara could replace these, and that would be okay. But making enemies weak to saving throws is often more valuable than making them miss attacks, just given that we have many ways to just slaughter enemies, but if we have them fail saving throws, then we can control them that way, and that's pretty valuable at times. It is going to be really strong for certain parties, though. I do want to acknowledge that it's potentially a very good end for stacking up tons and tons and tons of Radiant Orb really fast, making enemies be unable to hit. I feel like I remember there's a booby trap over here guarding what was kind of a Harper stronghold or something. Yeah, there it is. Okay. This is probably a safe distance. There we go. Bit of a silly interrogation here where they kind of caught a farmer and they don't believe that he's just a farmer. We can't confront these modern Harpers with the evidence of their silliness from back in the past, but they probably wouldn't care about that anyway. This chest is pretty hard to see, so it's kind of a reward for just having good eyes as a player, which I think is good. Yeah. Anyone can roll a perception check, but just having it kind of matter if the player has the attention and acuity to notice things is fun once in a while. This is a decent ring. A lot of us have light on us, we're not obscured all that often, but it will happen once in a while and could be useful for just turning that on if we want to have AC rather than have light around us. Probably better than this, at least. Uses the same icon as that one, which, one could hope for custom icons for every single ring, but it doesn't really matter, so that's fine.
Let's move.
With that, let me get off to Last Light Inn, and we can do some roleplay there. We can also talk to Isabel and do a long-awaited fight against Marcus. A lot of people say that's one of the toughest fights in the game. You'll see my strategy for it and why, for me at least, it's not, but it is still an interesting one at the very least. Then I'm going to need more time also to check that my sound is coming out right and that my videos are not having green screen in the background and things like that too. So, hope you enjoyed that video. I'm looking forward to making more of these when I get back from an upcoming camping trip. Thank you for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Master Knight DH, Jackie, and Lino, Travis, Carlo Andrea 97, Cthulhu's Mom, Oliver, Andrew Curzon, Troobsy, Skill Rap, Gregory, William Wakefield, Danny Hall, Jeffrey Morse, Just, Becca, Jack, Mashas01, Jacob Marshall, Nubiana, Till Fisher, Discord Colossus, Nicholas Schmuck, Kostia Nesterovich, Goman Blackrock, Dodo King 4, Marcin Bialek, Techno Waffle, Nebular, I Loop, Michael Francis, Emperor Kong 420, Robin Mackey, Micken Balls, Stygian Flamey, Micah Murray, Christopher Allen, Stefan Van Zyl, Eddie, Wendy, Ali Kasamoglu, Lucas Riverola, Skylar Sauce, Nick Myers, Bethany James, Emp Ninjas, Prebin, Mango Jelly, and Chupaton. Have a great day, everyone.